Yo, what it is, YouTube? It's your boy Nixie coming back with another bullseye of a tutorial here today. Pew pew bullseye of a tutorial here today on the channel. So I had a couple of people actually request that they wanted to see how I use the 610 preamp. It's funny. I remember the first day I got my Apollo interface and everything like that. I think I did like 150 songs with the 610 preamp. So when some of my subscribers requested it, and like how you guys can always down below, like, comment, don't forget to drop a video suggestion. They say, Nick, hey Nix, how you use the 610 preamp? So I wanted to do a video about it. So if you guys know the founder of actual Universal Audio is Bill Putnam, and Bill Putnam was Michael Jackson's engineer's mentor. His name was Bruce Sweetin, Michael Jackson's engineer, and Bill Putnam was his mentor. So I always felt like indirectly, maybe Bill Putnam had an influence on Michael Jackson's sound indirectly, through his engineer and all that stuff, because he like raised him up when he was a jit and all that, showing him the ropes. So let's go ahead and not waste no more time. I just want to go ahead and start playing the music and see how I like to use something like the 610 preamp to bring a little bit of blood into the veins, a little bit of life into a vocal. So this is a specific song that I have here that was the perfect case. So let's check it out. Let's go. Come on. Let's go.
Know I gotta keep one in the head. I tip my hat to the chasers, I ain't dead. I'm chasing money, some say I'm chasing death. Finesse the reaper lately, I've been playing chess. Stamp the job, the odds, know I stay ahead. Call me Floyd, how I move, I'm a threat. Kill the noise, local 10, say the rest. I been in motion, I'm a ref, I'm a vet. Life's a gamble, double up, that's a bet. Cut a nigga off like it's cancer in my flesh. Scars embedded in my heart, it added weight to high step. Niggas ain't even stepping up, got me stepping on the net, I get a thrill. Secret conversation with my bro never get revealed. Pop a seal, airtight pass, I got deals. You a middleman, I'm in the middle of the field. I got zero time to heal, trouble heart, but I'm here. Loyal to the game, forever adapting to the pain. Break it down, then I count it up in God's name. I'm an alpha and my chain omega, but my wrist plain. Money route, baby, born in my own lane. My pocket.
So yeah, this is the song that I have right here, and I really like how this song, like, if you listen to the beat, it gives you like that cemetery vibe, and he let the music talk to him, and he just really gave the right lyrics, talking about secret conversations all alone, like he really matched the vibe of the music. So as an engineer, I had to understand that, okay, like the way the beat was, he couldn't really turn up, and the way his delivery was really down tempo. It really matched the overall theme of the song, that darkness. It makes me think of crows, it makes me think of the graveyard shift, it makes me think of the cemetery, makes me think of a gray atmosphere, gray overcast. So I was like, that's really dope how he came on the song, talking about his life and all that. So I realized as an engineer, I had to warm up his voice a little bit, put a little bit of blood in the veins, give it a little bit of humanity. So the thing about the 610 preamp is, let's actually look at the 610 preamp and how I used it really a lot on this mix. So something like, you're looking at something like the 610 preamp, you got a guy like Bill Putnam, and you guys gotta always remember that this was a time before they really had compressors like that, and before they had EQ. If they actually wanted to have EQ on a channel, they actually had to like move the microphone. That was their EQ. Al Schmidt, he's another engineer he's one of those guys who you always to say he never had no EQ. He never really had no compression like that. It was all about mic placement and getting the right take and getting the right performance, and all that. So the main important thing too is that pay attention to the actual knobs of the 610. Back in the day, they had to grind those knobs on a lot of the broadcasts and stuff. They had to do all of the writing and stuff like that live. So that's how something like the LA2 came about, where people who was working jobs in like radio and stuff like that, they got tired, their wrist was hurting. They're like, damn, my wrist hurt. I've been flicking that bill all day. I've been whipping my wrist all day. I can't do this no more. So that's how the LA2A came about. But this is Bill Putnam, he created this invention, this little console, the 610 console, and it's known for being a very creamy, very rich, and it's using something like tubes. A lot of the primitive audio gear had tubes in it. The first microphones, like the the 47 and 67, all that stuff that had tubes inside of it, because the tubes they had a certain sound to it. It added a little distortion. It also was able to produce a certain tone that was very musical. And then let's look at a little bit more at the console right here and pay attention to like how the console, it don't got no damn compression on that bit. It don't got no EQ. It's just straight up like preamp preamps and stuff like that. So I think this one right here is like a remake or something like that and everything like that. But it's pretty cool to see how, you know, a piece of history like this is still accessible. You know, we don't got to worry about noise and stuff breaking while people recording. All we got to do is record and use it as a tool. Okay, so let's go back to Pro Tools. A great way I love to use something like the 610 is the Analog Obsession Tuba. And let's pay attention to how I like to use this as a subtle saturation to kind of quote unquote, I hate to say it, but take off the digital edge. So sometimes when you're recording into like a basic interface or something like that, it might sound a little too accurate. It might sound a little bit too direct. Like you can hear everything. You know, sometimes you don't want to hear everything. Like how sometimes in life you don't want to see everything. Like how people say ignorance is bliss. Sometimes in making music, you want a little bit of distortion. You want a little bit of saturation to like cover up the perfectness, the linearness of the linearness of the vocals. So let's listen to it with and without real fast.
No, I gotta keep one in the head. I tip my hat to the chasers, I ain't dead. I'm chasing money, some say I'm chasing death. Finesse the reaper lately, I've been playing chess. Stamp the job, the odds, know I stay ahead. Call me Floyd, how I move, I'm a threat. Kill the noise, local 10, say the rest. I been in motion, I'm a ref, I'm a vet. Like a gamble, double up, that's a bet. Cut a nigga off like it's cancer in my flesh. Scars embedded in my heart, it added weight to high step. Niggas ain't even stepping up, got me stepping on the net, I get a thrill. Secret conversation with my bro never get revealed. Pop a seal, airtight pass, I got deals. You a middleman, I'm in the middle of the field. I got zero time to heal, trouble heart, but I'm here. Loyal to the game, forever adapting to the pain. Break it down, then I count it up in God's name. I'm an alpha and my chain omega, but my wrist plain. Money route, baby, born in my own lane. My pockets ride wave, I ball like Dwayne Wade. I trap fall, I gain, this is foreign can.
Just listen to how sometimes you don't even gotta use the damn de-esser. You can use something like a tube saturator, and tubes are also known for adding even order harmonics, which actually makes stuff sound brighter. So tubes will give you more brightness while also de-harshing at the same time. Pay attention to how the vocals sound less harsh without using a de-esser or no EQ or nothing like that. The vocals sound less harsh because of the actual saturation, which is kind of like, you know, taking it and molding the signal a little bit. Pay attention, let's look.
No, I gotta keep one in the head. I tip my hat to the chasers, I ain't dead. I'm chasing money, some say I'm chasing death. Finesse the reaper lately, I've been playing chess. Stamp the job, the odds, know I stay ahead. Call me Floyd, how I move, I'm a threat. Kill the noise, local 10, say the rest. I been in motion, I'm a ref, I'm a vet. Like a gamble, double up, that's a bet. Cut a nigga off like it's cancer in my flesh. Scars embedded in my heart, it added weight to high step. Niggas ain't even stepping up, got me stepping on the net, I get a thrill. Secret conversation with my bro never get revealed. Pop a seal, airtight pass.
So you see everything starts to become smoother, and when I recorded this song, I actually recorded it using the C800 preset on this same microphone, the UAD Sphere microphone. Of course, it gave me some of that brightness. I wanted it to be contrast up against that type of beat, but when I take out that 610, you start to hear all of the S's and the harshness, and it starts to make it annoying. But being very smart, knowing I kind of got my you know, my vocal good dynamically and everything like that, I said, nah, I'm not going for a de-esser. I went with a saturator, which is something like the 610. So I'm using just like pretty much just pushing the mic pre just a little bit, and that's what, you know, the 610 was always known for, just giving gain to the microphones. It's not up until recently that, you know, people started to use this as like a tasting, as a salt, pepper, lemon pepper, Cajun seasoning type of thing, where now it's about flavor. Back in the days, it was just about getting some damn power to the microphone so we could just record. Them boy was just trying to record, you feel me? So yeah, that's pretty interesting. And then another way I like to use something like the 610 is the UAD 610. I actually like to use it as a parallel distorter. So what I did right here, you can see, is that I actually pushed the mic pre very hard. I introduced like 10 dB of gain right here, and I also kept pushing it over here on my side. So let's listen to how it actually added some body and a little bit of brightness to the vocals. So something like parallel saturation is good because it gives a point of reference to the listener. Like if I put you in a dimly lit room like how it is right now, you might think it's dark until I cut off the lights completely, and then you're like, you know, damn, when you had that little light there, it wasn't that dark because you have a point of reference. So that's what parallel compression is about to me. You know, if I can put you know, I might have a piece of dirt in one hand and then a piece of shit in the other hand, and you originally thought that piece of dirt was pretty dirty until I popped out with that piece of shit, and you're like, you know, actually that piece of dirt is clean compared to that piece of shit, So it is definitely true. You know, it is definitely true. A point of reference. You don't know what up is without down. You don't know what left is without right. And that's what parallel compression is. So pay attention to how when I start to get this gritty, nasty, disgusting sound, it starts to make stuff sound better.
No, I gotta keep one in the head. I tip my hat to the chasers, I ain't dead. I'm chasing money, some say I'm chasing death. Finesse the reaper lately, I've been playing chess. Stamp the job, the odds know I stay ahead. Call me Floyd, how I move, I'm a threat. Kill the noise, local 10, say the rest. I been in motion, I'm a ref, I'm a vet. Like ice a gamble, double up, that's a bet. Cut a nigga off like it's cancer in my flesh. Scars embedded in my heart, it added weight to high step. Niggas ain't even stepping up, got me stepping on the net, I get a thrill. Secret conversation with my bro never get revealed. Pop a seal, airtight pass, I got deals. You a middleman, I'm in the middle of the field. I got zero time to heal, trouble heart, but I'm here. Loyal to the game, forever adapting to the pain. Break it down.
And that's what the 610 kind of does. It kind of adds a little bit of, how can I say, a little bit of density. It gives a little bit of weight, a little bit of size to that vocal. Now it sounds like he's speaking for his chest. He's talking about he got scars in his heart. He's talking about loneliness. You know, he really just matching the theme of the beat. And the 610 just makes us make sure that we don't actually forget that the vocal is up front and very, very chesty and very bold with a little bit of size and a little bit of, you know, kind of making it feel like it's a little bit larger than life. So that's another thing I love to use the 610 for. Now, when it actually comes to tracking, I'm going to actually give you guys my tracking preset really quickly. Okay, I usually use it exactly like this, and it's kind of very weird because technically this is like an EQ, this is a high shelf and a low shelf. So I made like 100 songs with this preset on the 610. But if you use it like this and then you put a LA2A legacy at the end of it, that's kind of like a can't miss vocal chain. I'm not gonna lie, the vocals are gonna come in sounding very smooth, very creamy, and very rich. And yeah, that's actually my vocal chain when I use it in UAD console for a long time. Nowadays I only use really the Neve preamp, but this one was definitely a workhorse for me. And a lot of the songs I played on my channel were recorded with this preset when I recorded other people on the 610. So yeah, that's pretty cool to know. And the last thing I wanted to talk about using something like a 610 for is using it on the effects. So I actually did a little bit of parallel saturation on the effects, and it's pretty good because now it adds a little bit more dimension to the actual music. So let's pay attention to how a little bit of parallel tube saturation on my all effects bus, which has like the reverb, the delay, the doubler, everything is pretty much going there. That's like an effect, you know, a flanger, chorus, anything that I have like that's an effect is going there. So let's pay attention to how it helps actually establish like the sound stage of the actual music. Let go.
To the chasers, I ain't dead. I'm chasing money, some say I'm chasing death. Finesse the reaper lately, I've been playing chess. Stamp the job, the odds know I stay ahead. Call me Floyd, how I move, I'm a threat. Kill the noise, local 10, say the rest. I been in motion, I'm a ref, I'm a vet. Like ice a gamble, double up, that's a bet. Cut a nigga off like it's cancer in my flesh. Scars embedded in my heart, it added weight to high step. Niggas ain't even stepping up, got me stepping on the net, I get a thrill. Secret conversation with my bro never get revealed. Pop a seal, airtight pass, I got deals. You a middleman, I'm in the middle of the field. I got zero time to heal, trouble heart, but I'm here. Loyal to the game, forever adapting to the pain. Break it down, then I count it up in God's name. I'm an alpha and my chain omega, but my wrist plain. Money route, baby, born in my own lane. My pockets ride wave, I ball like Dwayne Wade. I trap fall, I gain, this is foreign's campaign.
So I really like this a lot because I went ahead and put it on mic. I pushed it as hard as I could, and now it actually creates a little bit of separation between that reverb. Now you hear a little bit of the fluffiness of the reverb, and then you also start to hear the delay just a little bit better, not actual volume, but actual separation. So that's kind of how I like to use something like saturation. Pay attention to it one more time. Listen to the separation of the reverb. You hear the fluff of the reverb, then you start to hear the delay a little bit better, and it also kind of gives it a little bit of dirtiness, a little bit of grittiness. It makes you think of something that's really gray and mucky and overcast, but it's still separated though, you know. Before, without the saturation, it kind of sounded like it was just a blend. It was just like all a muck. But when I put in the saturation, it kind of gave it like a different tone that contrasted. Let's listen one more time.
My own lane, my pockets ride wave. I ball like Dwayne Wade. I trap fall, I gain. This is foreign's campaign. My own lane, My pockets ride wave. I ball like Dwayne Wade. I trap for all I gain. This is foreign's campaign.
This adds like a real subtle presence that kind of like, I don't know, it does something to the stereo imaging. It feels like it adds a little bit of width without really adding a little bit of width at all though, because you know it's all of the effects, you know, so I wouldn't put a widener on all of my effects because I got my reverb sitting the way I want, my delay, my eighth note, all of that stuff is already sitting the way I want. So yeah, this is already pretty much the end of the video here today. Just want to say thanks a lot for being a great part of my YouTube family. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Drop a video idea down below if you learned something. Peace.